Hey everybody. So this week is setting up to be a pretty important week again. There's a lot of technical stuff happening in the market, and there's a lot of setups that are forming on the bigger indices and the bigger time frames. So there's definitely a lot going on. The QQQ is currently under its the trend channel that was forming here. Well, it was sort of forming. It seemed to be. You got this nice trend line here that had 4 bounces. So we have a breakdown under that, and we have a breakdown under the 50-day moving average. So one scenario here is that maybe we come back into this trend channel here and back into the box that we were in, and we head higher to maybe 397 to 400 range. But I definitely will be watching to see how the price action is in that 397 to 400 range if we do get up there. So, if we do happen to break through this 50-day moving average and back into the trend channel and over that 390 level, I think we'll have quite a lot of buying force behind us, and we could probably head up and test that 397 level at least, maybe even the 400. I kind of do have a bearish bias right now, but I'm open to anything, of course. I definitely will be watching for signs of weakness in the market. Sometimes you get over the 50-day moving average after a drop under it, and then you just drop right back down. That happened here. It happened again here, right? We broke underneath the 50-day moving average, came above it, and then we tanked down. So that does happen sometimes. Looks like in 2020 when we had that huge drop, once we broke below it, we really didn't come back above it. So that's something to watch for as well. But yeah, if we get over that 390 level, we can go quite a bit higher. And if we go into this 381, 382 range, we get under that, we can definitely test that 379. And, underneath that is where we can head down to 374 pretty easily. Looks like we might have some support at that 379 level because we have support on the weekly as well. But we could very easily drop below that. So we're just watching for that 380, 381 level for the downside, and then the 390, 391 level for upside. Those are the two very important points. Next up, we have the SPY. The SPY also closed right above the 50-day moving average. So, going back to the QQQ for 1 second, we're really just trading in the 382 to 400 box still. If you look here, we were just trading in the 390 to 400 box for the vast majority of this time, but then we extended the box to the 382 level. So right now we're just trading in a 382 to 400 box. You could even say it's like 383 to 399. Depends on how you want to look at it. But yeah, so we're really just trading in a 382 to 400 box right now. And, you want to watch for a break over about 401 for upside and a break under about 380 for, potentially substantial downside. So next up, we have the SPY. We're at the 50-day moving average right now. That's huge. Very big level for the S&P 500. We barely ever go under it. But if we do get under the 50-day moving average, we can definitely head lower here. Things aren't looking that great, in my opinion. We have quite a few days of distribution, which is really just, days of a lot of selling with a lot of volume. And from what I've read and what I've come to understand, when there's a lot of selling, it kind of happens in waves. Like you'll get, let's go back to 2020. So you'll get like a few days of distribution, and then you'll have like the relief rally, and then you'll have more days. And like as you can see from back here, the volume on this up day here, right? So this day was still red, right? There's massive volume, but it was still a red day. It still closed lower than the day before. So that really wasn't bullish volume in my opinion, right? And that's just like a subjective idea of mine. But see here where it did head higher, the volume was actually lower than the volume this day where it had a lot of selling. So, you know, that's a sign of pretty immense like pretty large weakness. And then if you look the next day, the volume was higher when it sold. So there was more selling volume than buying volume. And, you know, even this day right here where it broke above, look at that volume. It was pretty low. So with all that distribution and that huge amount of volume increasing as well, and then the decreasing volume on the way up, that's a sign of, you know, dissipating buying pressure. Because the volume on the for the buying, you know, it goes lower and then lower. So that was a sure sign of the market coming right back down. So definitely something to watch for here is, you know, once we start breaking down, if we do, it's for a low volume buying, you know. That'll be a pretty good hint that there's no real sustenance behind it. Definitely just in this box right now still, 460 to 470. And then there's the box below. Really just like 450 to 460. So that's kind of one way to look at this. Right? Well, let's say 453 to 460, 460 to 465. Quite a few little boxes here. But yeah, 50 SMA on both charts is the key. It's what we need to hold. And then we're going to watch for resistance for the VIX up here, and then, you know, for a breakdown in the VIX down here. If the VIX goes up, then the market goes down and vice versa. Last but not least, we have the Dow, and we're under that 50-day moving average. So we also want to watch that 50-day and see if we hold below it. You know, we do have some support on the weekly here as well, but doesn't look like it matters much because like it looks like the Dow breaks under them pretty effortlessly. Right here it did. I guess not often, but it happens. So whereas the SPY has like barely ever broken under the 21 on the weekly since COVID. Right, so that'd be a really bearish indication if we break under that on the weekly.